Yeah, Sam's tied up tonight for a little bit. I don't know, maybe he'll join us by the time he gets out of his stuff, but he's kind of preoccupied with a prior engagement. So
All right.
he may click in and join us, or he may not. So
All right. Well, cool.
he told me to go ahead and let her rip. So
Okay. And I see we're recording already.
yeah, he gave me the thumbs up. We're ready to go. So
All right.
we're ready to roll. Ready to roll.
All right. You want to kick it off, or?
Yeah, we're here for what is it? Week 7? Week 8?
Yeah, I don't know anymore.
Another week of sports talk. You got Mike and Pat today. Sam hopefully will join us. A good week for Michigan and tough week for Michigan State, obviously, in football. Lions had a bye, so we didn't have to worry about the Lions at all. But big week coming up for them up in Lambeau Field. Playing.
Yeah, that's big.
Packers. That'll be a tough one. Packers look really tough. They took care of the Cowboys last week pretty handily. Kind of a shocking game, but Packers are tough. The defense playing well for them, and they seem to have a good running game going, and Jones there, and I can't argue with him because he's my fantasy running back. So
there you go.
I had 45 points from him last week. So
nice.
My fantasy team came out with 185 points for the week. For the weekend, I checked it the other day, and I'm like, "Holy crap! I had 185 points, and he had 45 of them." So
sweet.
And I have a good group there. So I don't
well, hey, you said it was good week for Michigan and a tough one for Michigan State.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you look at the scoreboards and that, and that's absolutely true. But which one are you feeling better about right now?
Which overall team am I feeling better about?
Yeah. Like if they played today, who do you got?
I wasn't as fortunate to see all the Michigan game. I was tied up with some golf for my son, but I taped it and watched it again on Big Ten Network a little bit. And the first 8 minutes, the game was 10-3, and then the rest of it was, I think I fell asleep through. So, we look good against Iowa. I don't know what Iowa was all about. Obviously they're a talented team, and I heard their line was a pretty good line coming into the season, and they had weapons, and I think they're okay. Are they better than Michigan State? I don't think so. As far as Iowa a better team than Michigan State? No. But I think if Michigan and Michigan State played right now, I'd almost have to go with the Spartans.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Because of they came out, and obviously the Buckeyes had one quarter against them that really blew open the game, and that's what I kind of worried about. I thought if they can avoid that big, which Ohio State's been having, is their second quarters they've been outscoring teams like crazy. So teams get hammered by them, and then they hang on. And State played well after the second quarter. I thought they did defensively. They kind of made some adjustments and caused some issues for Ohio State. And just offensively, I think Spartans shoot themselves in the foot a little bit, which Iowa did against us. Iowa shot themselves in the foot in that last drive that they put together. Two guys dropped the ball right in their lap.
Right.
It could have been a totally different ending to that game if they catch those balls in those situations. I mean, they're talking about the sacks and everybody getting to the quarterback at the end, and then but really those guys, we were fortunate. I mean, obviously you're as a defensive coach, and Brown can't predict they're going to miss the ball, but those things play into part, and those things
right. Absolutely.
You got to sometimes you got to say, I hope we're going to cover them as best we can, but hopefully they drop the ball. And if they catch the ball, obviously you got to readjust, and you play the next down. But they I'm just not that sold yet on Michigan. Sure they played well against Illinois and against Iowa, and they just aren't clicking. And although Coach said they're clicking, they're starting to come together. They know more than I do, and obviously, and they see what's going on, and maybe there were some signs of some good thing. Maybe the offensive line is close. Maybe the guys are starting to grasp the philosophy and the terminology. I don't know, but
it's all right. So a couple things. when he says that they're starting to click, that comes across to me like the Hoke era.
Yeah.
Remember, Hoke was always about, oh, we had a great week of practice. We're expecting to be tip top for the game and all this different stuff. And, we call the right plays. We just have to execute better.
Yeah.
And, it's like game after game after game of not executing properly. I mean, eventually you got to point your finger, in the mirror at that point.
Yeah.
You can't sit there and go, I called this play and it was perfect and you screwed it up. Well, then you can't call the play if they're going to screw it up all the time. So it kind of sounds like that. Now in terms of Iowa, 3 picks and 8 sacks. God, I almost want to call it the Nate Stanley game.
Right.
When I say the Nate Stanley game, that won't stick. But and my point with that is, like, if I tell you the Ricky Foggy game, you know exactly what game I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if I say the Demetrius Brown game,
Right. Yeah, the Demetrius Brown game. Yeah.
and if I say, on a positive one, if I say the Tim Biakapatuka game,
all right.
you know which game I'm talking about.
300.
So, right. So Nate Stanley, I mean, what happens if he gets rid of the ball a little quicker?
That comparison, right? He's going to be mad. He could do it once the rest of the year, and they'll be like, and people in Iowa will be like, well, yeah, but he had that game against Michigan where he threw 3 interceptions and got sacked 8 times, or whatever,
Yeah. It's the same stuff. Okay, so we're 5 games in for Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And they
5 games in.
They've the one good team they played, they got their butts whooped.
Yeah.
They've beaten a couple decent teams in close games in Army and Iowa. Their offense is horrendous.
Yeah.
So but the head coach, who knows better than us, says they're clicking. I mean, they're 95th in total offense right now, 74th in scoring. I haven't seen Harbaugh's first year. You had Ruddock that kind of made a turnaround halfway through the season.
Mm-hmm.
He just seemed to get it, and they knew what plays to call for him, and he just turned it on at that point. But it wasn't like some remarkable. We didn't go from 17 points a game to 37 points a game.
Right.
It was just that it was just easier to score. It wasn't like we probably went from 24 to 30, maybe.
Yeah. Was it because we had a better running back for Ruddock? Was it because the linemen were gelled better?
Well, and that's the thing. Like,
I mean, a lot of it takes, as coaching goes, you hope that, you can't necessarily predict when it's going to happen. You can do everything you can to create it to happen, or it just clicks and it's like, man, you just throw the balls out there and they're going to play well. Or the kids finally get it. They come off the floor going, that was pretty easy. That was fun,
Yeah.
That team pretty handily, like Coach said. And it gets going into, just like Ohio State right now. I think Ohio State's in that mode right now where they haven't been challenged and they're just clicking. And
they're an awesome team right now.
And do they have flaws? I'm sure. And I'm sure maybe there's a team that may catch them. And, their call sign this year is not to let Purdue happen again. Not let them slip up here. That causes them a chance because that's where they're at. I mean, they're in a situation where they can't afford to lose. They have to be undefeated.
Right.
National media is going to put another team in there, and they won't take the Big Ten team, especially now. They're like, the Big Ten team is overrated over in the preseason. The Big Ten teams were, definitely overrated. They're not as good. The league is not as good as we thought it was going to be.
No, not at all.
That's what you hear from the media now. And so that's kind of hard, and that hurts Ohio State's chances. So now it's like, we got to win, and we got to win convincingly. We got to win by a big score. We're not going to pull the dogs off. One of those kind of mentalities. So it's hard from that standpoint for the Big Ten teams to get in, just because you have SEC, dominance at times. That people, the media pushes it. ESPN's, kind of ESPN, SEC kind of, stuff.
Right.
So you're gonna, let's get the two SEC teams in there, and then ACC and Oklahoma. So Clemson. So it's like already now they're already pretty much said, hey, that's it. Everybody else is playing for all the other bowls. So it's bad that they do that. And Does it create conversation? Yeah. Does it create gains during the season? Maybe, but I don't know. It's just hard to say. And is that good for is that good for college football? My question to you is: has it been good that it's just been Alabama and Clemson the last 3-4 years, whatever? Is it good for college football? That there's no other teams that have been in there.
You know what? I like it when there's a boogeyman.
Yeah.
So I like it when there's a dominant team.
Yeah.
Because then every team can get up for them, and that's the team that you want to beat, and that's the team you want to get to, and that's the team you're going to run into if you want to win a natty.
Right. Yeah.
So one dominant team is great. Two teams that just kind of split them all, that's not. Because of the exact scenario you're talking about. Alabama's going to get the benefit of the doubt even with a loss or even without winning their conference over pretty much anybody that's not undefeated.
Right.
You got, Clemson basically has a cakewalk in. Oklahoma, you'll see what happens, but they've been able to get in with one loss before. Ohio State, if they keep playing the way they're playing, they're in. That's an outstanding team. So we'll see what happens. It's I don't know. I think two teams is bad.
Yeah.
Two dominant teams is bad. One is good.
Yeah. You can go back to like the old days back when you and I grew up. It was the Big 2, Little 8 in the Big 10.
Right.
Everybody knew it came down to November, 22nd, Michigan, Ohio State. It didn't matter really. Maybe there was a slip up here and there, but the Rose Bowl was on mine at Michigan, Ohio State.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, some other teams came along and there became parity just like they wanted, and some of those kind of things, which created, more, TV. Some games are on TV. You can watch them all the time, and so they needed to have parity in order for people to watch the games. You know what I mean? So that's where college football is right now. To me, it's like, is it the Big 2, little everybody else? Or like back when Tiger dominated golf, it was Tiger and the field.
Right. Well, and that's and again, when he did that was great because he was one guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if it was just Tiger and Phil going back and forth, it would have gotten really boring pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my opinion. Right. Now, that being said, you referenced the Big 2, Little 8. That was great. I loved it because, one of my teams was the Big 2.
Exactly. Well, that's fun.
We're not talking about this if it's Michigan and Alabama splitting national championships the last 6 years.
Right. Yeah.
We're like, bring them on.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting. They Michigan, and I've said this for the last couple of weeks, it's hard to gauge them because how much better they can be on offense. There's 3 guys that are probably going to be in the NFL next year. If not next year, the following year. They're all like top 100 players in their senior year of high school. Right. We had a 5-star, 2 4-stars. There's a 5-star quarterback as a senior. There are 4 returning linemen, all with some kind of Big Ten accolades from last year.
Right. Yeah.
And they can't move the ball. They're like 10th in offense in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
There's just something going on. Even with Iowa. If Michigan has a average offense, that game's a paddling. It's a woodshed. They're winning 31-3 or something.
Right.
And but here's the thing. I will probably be saying the same thing. There's 2 guys looking at each other right now online for Iowa and saying, you know what, if we had a decent offense, we're beating Michigan there 24-10.
Right. Yeah. It's hard because you sit there and we knew the hype coming in. We read everybody saying, oh, Michigan's got this, that, we're sure in to win the East, Ohio State's new coach, blah, blah, blah. And they've underachieved. And that happens. That happens. And the coaches are trying to figure out a reason why. Even right now, you look The last two games, Houston Astros have gone into a hitting slump and they can't hit the ball against Tampa Bay at Tampa Bay. They all of a sudden they're like, oh, what's happened to Houston? They're 28 for 115 or something like that in the last two games against Tampa, and now they're in a game 5, winner take all. So it's the same situation. All of a sudden, it just happens where you're trying to fight your way through. And obviously, they scored. What they get 52 against Rutgers, so it's there. It's there. And can they do it again against Illinois this weekend? Potentially, but it's at Illinois, and you never know on the road. And
right,
you just hopefully. But this could be a character builder, though. This could be something where we go on the road and they learn how to win, and this could be something that could propel them. So they always say there's big wins, there's big moments during the seasons that bring a team together. And maybe that's something that they're looking for. That the coaches are like, there's got to be something here that's going to cause this team to, whether it's, here they thought, oh, Army was the one. That's the game. They gelled together and pulled that game out and won. But this it's got to be a road game like this, or even when they go to Penn State in a couple weeks, that's going to be another, a game where it could be a team bonding, team building game that all of a sudden, it just kind of takes off.
What my concern would be with Michigan is that, we're looking for that to happen, but there's coaches who aren't putting them in position to win a game. All right, now let me tell you a brief story to kind of, an analogy, if you will, for my point. Old roommate of mine at college, he was just an awesome foosball player. Those guys who in a quarter second make 3 passes and just rattle one off the back of your net. You don't even see it. You're sitting there, and then he's like he can, super quick passing, sure. And just stuff that I've never been able to do. All right, well, meet up with him 4 years later. He hasn't played in 4 years, and he's still trying to do the super quick passes. Now he can go at 25% speed, and I can't stop him.
Right.
But he's not. He's trying to go at full speed, and he's not able to do that. So he's missing passes, and I would just go tap, 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 right down the little, whatever, the field, if you want to call it, or whatever you want to call it, and I would score. And I ended up beating him by 2 or 3 or whatever. And he gets all pissy, and it's kind of like all he had to do was back it off a little bit to what his level was at that point, and he would have crushed me. So I'm concerned, is the offense too complicated? Did they make too many changes? I mean, because right now there's nothing that offense is good at. They're not good at passing the ball. They're not good at running the ball. They can't protect the quarterback. They can't run block. And they can't seem to get open. The only big plays, I mean, there's the occasional one, like last week there was one where, I threw one up for grabs. But most of the time, the touchdown passes or the big plays the guys are wide open. I mean, you and I could hit the guy.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm concerned in, not, and I get you with the coaching. It's not like they forgot how to coach.
Right. Yeah.
But you can think that your team is better than what they are, and they can handle more than what they're actually handling, and you can be blinded by it.
Yeah. You hear some of the complaints about the other night game where they opened up and bang, they hit Nico Collins for the long bomb, and then they never went back to it, or you never saw them again, and then they keep rotating the running backs in there. Can you get a running back that gets a flow that's carrying the ball twice and then goes out and sits for 4 snaps and then comes back in and carries it again? Obviously you get, a stable full of guys. You're waiting for someone to step forward and take the job by a horn or something like that, and you got a lot of receivers that rotate in and out. Every play there's, guys rotating in and out, so quick receivers are going in and out of the game. A buddy of mine, I was with him the other day, and he says, yeah, did you see the one timeout? Everybody's huddled around. They're all talking, and here's, number 7 standing outside the huddle. Kind of, he knew the play wasn't going for him or whatever. He just knew that he wasn't going to stand and be in the huddle, kind of deal. So you get those kind of complaints about people, and
Yeah, I
It's
didn't
just
notice that.
it's hard. I didn't see it either. He just made it. He made a note to me, and I'm like, oh, really? So I thought that'd be kind of neat to bring up here. Obviously you get some guys like that just start. If it's not for me, I'm not going to listen to the play. So you get some guys that are that way. That don't tune in.
Yeah, but you can't have that.
Right, and that's something that either it's got to be addressed or otherwise it's going to tear apart the team because everybody, if a guy watching from TV at home can notice it, everybody on that sideline and in the huddle can notice it. So it's one of those kind of deals. That it's kind of a frustrating thing. But hopefully they can right the ship and it can get hot and they can figure it out. And it's like I say, it's something that you just can't plan on it. You say tonight's the night we're going out there. We're going to take on Illinois, and this is going to jumpstart our season. You can't. You just got to go out there, and it's got to be just you come out of it and you go, okay, now it's starting to come. The famous line from Major League. It's coming together, Pepper. The team's starting to figure it out.
Right.
Those kind of situations, or even when Bo was coaching, in his first season that they all talk about, 1967 or whatever, 69. And, the team was kind of getting through games. All of a sudden, about halfway through the season, they start blowing people out. Defenses throwing shutouts. And he goes, I could just feel the momentum, and I could feel the team getting confidence. So when they played Ohio State in that game at Michigan that they won, the best victories he got, or whatever, he knew going into that game his team was ready to go, that there was so much confidence in them, and it just built off of all those other games. So that's something I think that they're hoping to maybe. Like I said, that's my thinking on it is that you just can't automatically just say, all right, this is when it's going to start to happen. It's just something that they got to play through. It's like a batting slump. Like guys up there 0 for 20, and you just can't. When do you pull them out of the lineup? When do you sit them for a game? When do you just let them play through it and just keep hitting? He's got to hit his way through the slump, So it's just
but here's the thing. I get that, but you're 5 games into a 12-game season.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah. For 4 of those games, and the game you didn't was against Rutgers.
Yeah. So it's.
So when do you start? And then that's the thing. When do you make the call saying it's not a slump? This is what it is.
Right.
This is what it's
this is the way we're going to have to just
Victor
battle
Martinez.
Those kind of mentalities,
Where Victor Martinez was hitting 330 every single year.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he was hitting 230.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, it's a slump. Well, now you're 3 years into him hitting 230.
Yeah.
It's not a slump anymore. That's
right. Yeah.
He's the new normal. And that's the thing. Is this just a pathetic offense? The new normal.
Right. Yeah. It's hard to say. Obviously Michigan's been struggling, and State has their ups and downs. And they're in the same boat. I think their defense is playing well and keeps them in games. And Michigan last week, their defense kept them in games. I think State's defense keeps them in games, and their offense has got to come along. And they've had a blowout game where they've played well and scored. This week they're in for a good challenge. This week going up to Wisconsin, I think it's going to be a tough game for them. But Wisconsin's another big game for them. They got to step up and decide if they're going to be contenders or pretenders. Everyone's talking, wait till the Ohio State-Wisconsin game. Right? This is a hurdle right here. This could be the stumbling block for them if State gets in there and plays well, and defense can play. But here I was last week. I said, well, Michigan State's defense can keep them in the game, and ended up being what the final was 31-10 or
35-10, I think.
5-10 or something. So it's they had a big outburst in that second quarter that put them behind against Ohio State, and you just can't afford that. Even Michigan, same way. Michigan last year, going into that second half, was a touchdown down. All of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. Ohio State just took after him, and the game turned into a blowout because they just capitalized that quickly, and they're able to turn it around and bang, you're down 3 touchdowns very quick, So that's what Michigan State. I think if they can keep the run intact up there at Wisconsin and not let Taylor get off, and Taylor's been getting off all season, so it's kind of hard to say. When they make Wisconsin a passing team and not a running team, is State capable of doing that up there? And it's going to be a tough task for them, especially coming off, the Ohio State game. It's just tough coming back from that game, I think. But they didn't pass well against Ohio State. Stewart didn't look good. He got a little caught up in the whole thing, and White, had some mistakes, and
right.
In the running game, it really didn't do much for him. And they got some guys getting in the transfer portal right now that are
Yeah, two
programmed
running
now.
back.
Two running backs that Collins beat them out, and so they just go running to the transfer portal, because they lost their spot and didn't want to stick around to fight for it or whatever. So
I mean, the one guy played 6 games and then
Hayward,
jumped into the
yeah,
portal.
yeah,
That's a little odd.
yeah. I mean, what do you do in that situation? Obviously, it's a tough situation. Do you stick around and try to ride it out, or do you take advantage of the new loopholes that they have in the NCAA?
Right.
But
Yeah.
people going into Wisconsin and winning, I think so. But I just think after all I got to go on with Wisconsin is what they did to Michigan. So it's like, oof, they look tough. So I haven't really watched Wisconsin that well enough to know that, yeah, man, they can do it again. And have they played a tough competition?
Who they play last week?
Well, here they played Northwestern 2 weeks ago, and that was that came down to a 9-point game. It was like 24-9
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, but that was like.
Then last week
that was weird because
Northwestern.
their defense was scoring.
Michigan State beat Northwestern 31-3, and Wisconsin barely beats Northwestern by 9. So by those scores, you say, okay, and Michigan State, I think, did it at Northwestern. So, is this something that is a telltale sign that Wisconsin's in for a game when you compare scores, I guess. But I forget who Wisconsin.
Oh, they did. They beat the crap out of Kent State.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. The guy ran for his own there. It's a confidence.
Yeah, so their 3 non-conference games are 49-0, 61-0, and 48-0.
Man.
Not bad. They're outscoring non-conference opponents 159-0.
So that's not a bad resume when you're looking at that and you go, man, oh man. But when they beat Michigan,
Yeah, that's rough.
they barely, they got by Northwestern by 9 or whatever.
Yeah, and that's, what? That's what I love about college football, though.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can sit there, like right now, we just happen to have our two teams in our state, two big college teams. I mean, no offense to the Chippewas and the Broncos and the Eagles out there.
But the Eagles score against the Chips. The Chips blew them out.
Yeah, that was weird.
Blew out Eastern.
But, anyway, they no offense to them, but in terms of the Power 5 teams, both teams have you're not like, I think both teams are better than what they're showing. I mean, certainly Michigan on offense.
Yeah.
The potential is there. Whether or not they're ever going to do it, that's up to them and the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Michigan State, like I've been saying the last few weeks, they're better. They're better than they're showing in the final score in every game. Now they have a couple losses now. One they shouldn't have had.
And
then one, they just played a juggernaut. I mean, everyone's going to lose to them. So you can't really tell anything from that game. So you were still got a lot of questions, and that's what's great about it. Because now finally you can sit there and go, okay, we think Michigan State's pretty good. What I mean pretty good is like they're like a 9-3, good.
Yeah.
And Wisconsin, we think, is maybe 10-2, 11-1 good.
Right.
So will that play out? I mean, because if that plays out, that's a 24-21 game.
Yeah.
And
they played, Wisconsin, Michigan State games have been close. We just listened to Coach D'Antonio the other day at his press conference saying we've been in battles with them that, came down to the last second throw to Nichols in the end zone to win against them, and then Wisconsin's beating them in the last second. So this game could be a 3-point game, if everything plays out. You're one of those kind of games where it's coming down to the wire, but
but that's the thing, like that's what's so great about college football. You can just sit there and have questions about every team.
Oh yeah.
And we're halfway through the season.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden just go, all right, now here's the game that kind of connects teams together.
Right. Yeah. You start
because
them, we beat these guys. So
Penn State and Iowa, for example.
Weekend that's coming up. Yeah.
Okay, Michigan's got Penn State next week.
Right. Yeah.
And they have Iowa this week, so there's a direct comparison there, as each of those two teams play Iowa in the preceding 2 weeks before they match up. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I heard that game 7:30. Michigan Penn State's a 7:30 game.
yeah, I expected that.
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I didn't hear that, but I did expect it.
Heard it was announced, I think. But
Yeah, the additional thing with Michigan State and Wisconsin, which again is one of those like connection games, because now Michigan's played them. They kicked the crap out of Michigan. If all of a
Right.
sudden if Michigan State goes in there and kicks the crap out of the Badgers, and
right.
it's like, well,
Yeah.
what is Michigan really
Show
about?
is like, oh man, Michigan's in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
One of those kind of deals.
No, that's the thing. I mean, the way what Michigan's showing right now, they could lose half the games the rest of the
Oh
year.
yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Worst
Well,
case.
8-4 might not be a bad. I mean, they're not going to lose to Illinois. Illinois is awful.
Yeah.
You know, me, you, Sam, and all your nieces and nephews could beat up on Illinois.
Yeah, I feel bad for Lovie Smith. I know he's been down there trying to build that program and do something with him. And this year they said all preseason that he's got the most coming back. He's the most talent he's had since he's been there, and it just hasn't turned around into victories. So it's one of those kind of deals where Michigan's going down there, and Michigan always seems to go on the road and make things close. They don't go on and just bury people, or whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm anticipating something where it's going to be, we're not going to go down there and just open up and get after it and win 40-7. I think it'll be a 14-point game at most probably. Then they'll have to score late to make it 14 or something like that.
I'm actually thinking they're gonna. I'm thinking it's gonna be a big game.
Yeah, I just think
I have a feeling.
it's like here they are thinking, all right, we got Penn State next week, so let's go down to Illinois. We're supposed to win. One of those kind of situations, or especially with the way this team is right now, it's one of those kind of situations, whereas you look at the reverse, it's like, well, Michigan State's in a different situation. They're going, man, we just lost Ohio State. We got to buckle the chin straps. We got to go to Wisconsin, and this is a make or break game if we want to stay in the hunt. And that's where they're in that situation.
Right.
Michigan's, in the same boat. They still got to take care of business, but the opponent isn't quite the same factor. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, next week, Michigan's got to buckle the chin straps and get after Penn State, kind of like they did back in the day.
Yeah, I'd like to think that they're going to go in there and go, okay, we got 2 road games.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's. Here's how we do road games.
Yeah, you look at Illinois.
Let's treat the Illinois game like we're going to Penn State right now.
Oh yeah.
And let's kick the crap out of them, and then just follow the exact same pattern the next week.
Yeah, they need to make it like a Rutgers game where it's a statement game where the media is going, "Hey, look at Michigan here; they're back. They got 53-0 or something."
And that's what's so. It's interesting, but it's maddening too.
Mm-hmm.
Say if they do. Say if they beat them 53-0,
mm-hmm.
and then they come out flat against Penn State and lose by 17.
Right.
Well, you know what we have? We have what we thought.
Yeah, we're back to where we're at today, we're back to where we are after Iowa.
Yeah, we predict right, and we predicted. I know I did. I think you were with me too. But I thought they'd lose to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
This is when I thought they were really good. I thought they'd lose to Wisconsin, and I thought they'd lose to Penn State.
Yeah, I figured they'd either lose to Penn State.
All of a sudden, they're not very good, but they still have the same record. And now we're 7 games into the season, and we don't know what we got.
Yeah, you're still looking at guys stepping up.
Right.
You're hoping to get a state victory and an Ohio State victory, So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting couple weeks, and this is what makes college football what college football is. Really, it's exciting, and it's it'll be fun to sit and talk about it a little bit more next week. I'm going to watch Illinois and Michigan. I'm going down there for that game.
Nice.
The road trip, so that'll be kind of fun. Never been down there, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times.
Have you?
Yeah, just get my sister and my brother-in-law each did my sister got her master's there.
Okay.
My brother-in-law did master's and undergrad there.
Okay.
So we went down there a few times.
Yeah, we usually get seasons for Michigan, and we usually go on one roadie, and we've gone to Northwestern. They've gone to Indiana, Purdue, and now we're going to Illinois. So it's new on the list, but so it's
I've done Wisconsin, Illinois,
Oh, yeah.
and Boston College.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So,
So, we've talked about going to Penn State, but we haven't got that around yet. So, and maybe Maryland or something out there, on the on the East Coast.
yeah.
Those take a little bit more, but
Yeah, Maryland would be cool just because I lived out there for 2
right.
years.
Yeah, you're out there for a while.
So,
It should be exciting college weekend. I mean, you got some good games coming up. Like you said, Penn
yeah.
State, Iowa. You got Florida against LSU. You got games that make the season. It's good. That's
Yeah.
what's gonna make
No, Red River rivalry. God, it's hard to say.
Oklahoma and Texas, right? Oklahoma, Texas is this weekend.
Yeah. That's on the same time as Michigan, Illinois.
That's why I'm kind of disappointed. I'm going down to the game because then you lose out, you miss out. I might have to set the recorder or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's just college football, and so it's exciting. And the Lions are starting to make it exciting around here, and this is a big weekend for them too. They got Monday night.
Absolutely.
Like we talked about before, we've been frozen tundra. We're going up there. Hopefully, it's not frozen by then. But they're coming off a big victory against Cowboys. We might catch them on that. The Lions off week. They've had, like you said, 15 days off, so they're gonna, maybe put some wrinkles in and got healthy and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of things there that the Lions are doing well, and I'm anxious to see. This is their first, I think, their first divisional game, right?
Right. I think we're going to find out when we talk next week. I think we're going to know a little bit more. We're going to know a lot about the Lions. I think we're going to know a lot about MSU, and I still don't think we're going to know anything about Michigan.
Right. Yeah, no doubt about it. It'll be, can Stafford stay hot, and can the defense has been playing well, and Green Bay went right through Dallas last weekend, so totally shocked by that victory. I thought Dallas would handle them down there in Jerry's world, but yeah, he just got.
Maybe they put a bunch of stuff on film, so Lions can get after it.
Exactly. But I think the Lions come up there. I think the Lions go up there. I think they go up there and a valiant effort, but I think Rodgers ends up pulling it out in the end, and the Lions lose by 7. I'm guessing like a 31-24.
That's exactly what I got.
You're gonna take 24.
Here, let me share my screen.
I had Sam here to document, but
yeah. Wait, where is that?
You can put that in.
Share. Word.
I don't know. I forget my prediction last week. I think I had Michigan win in by 7.
Did I share it?
Oh, there you go.
Here?
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, I can see it there.
The same score.
Huh?
We got the exact same score.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Good. All right. So both 31-24 Green Bay.
Yeah.
All right.
What do you got?
Campaign. I think Michigan's gonna. I think Michigan, like I said, wins by 14. I think we're get some offense going. I think we'll probably get up into 42 to. I can't say that. That's not even close. So I think I'm going 35 to 21. 35-21.
Okay. I have 38-10.
38-10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Michigan's going to somehow mess up, and we'll give them 21, and defense won't play as well. And we'll give up no by the wire, and we'll get 35. It'll be like 35-7, and then we'll give up a couple of late ones to make it close, and subs in there or something like that. It's not supposed to be very warm down there. I heard like 50 degrees, so snow, is out in the Dakotas. So
right.
Bad. I don't have a lot of warm clothes out right now, so. And then
so Wisconsin and MSU.
I think Wisconsin. I think it's a tough battle. It's going to be another 3 to 7 point game. I think Michigan State's going to hang with them, and I think it'll probably be a little bit more of a low scoring game. So I'm going to go like a 21-17 final, and I think Wisconsin defense will hold State on the last drive as State's going in to possibly win the game. I think Wisconsin's defense, which isn't bad, will step up and put the stop on it, make it 21-17. Wisconsin squeaks out a victory up there on a valiant effort by the Spartans.
I have Whiskey with a couple late scores, like a couple fourth quarter scores, pulling away at the end, 24-10.
24-10. All right, so you're 14 points too.
Yeah. Yep.
So they could be
Yeah,
like,
so Vegas has Michigan by 22.5, Wisconsin by 10.5.
oh, Wisconsin.
I have each favorite covering,
Okay. Yeah.
and you have each dog covering.
Take the dog, baby.
Losing but covering.
Take the Illini and take the Spartans.
Yeah, like you said, entertainment purposes only.
That's right. Entertainment. What's the Lions spread? I haven't looked at the Lions.
You know what? I don't know what the line spread is.
All right. Well, I don't worry about that. But
There's only so much research I can do, man.
that's right, baby. You do good. Well, until next week, we can talk a little bit more. The Red Wings have started, and the Pistons are playing.
Doing well, man.
Yeah, the Wings. I thought last night was the first night they didn't look that good. So
Right.
that second and third, I saw the third period, and they just didn't look. Anaheim it was 1-0 after going into the third, and then all of a sudden, it seemed like Anaheim was circling around us, and we couldn't do anything. So they got 3 goals. But they
Always
looked
notable.
Huh?
It's always notable when a guy scores 4 goals in the first game.
Oh man, I watched that game, and that was a good game. He was on fire. They said he's on a pace for 300 and some goals this year.
That would be a record.
Slightly. I listened on the radio the other day. It might have been today. Some guy calls into one of the talk shows on the channel that you and I listen to there.
Yeah.
And, I want to know, this tight end for San Francisco. He's had a great start to the season. What do you think his chances are to win the MVP?
0.
This is the kind of things you have to deal with as fans. But I'm just like, are you serious? That question? And the guy was like, he started kind of chuckling. And he goes, yeah, no chance at all. No chance at all. Obviously, he's a great guy. He'll probably be the Pro Bowl, but yeah, he's got no chance of winning an MVP.
Remember Gibson? Kirk Gibson had just a phenomenal opening day back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I remember they did that. I think it was like Sports Illustrated did it.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, I think he went like I think he went 4 for 4, 2 home runs, and like 5 RBIs or something.
Right.
Or maybe 3 for 4.
Yeah.
I think it was 3 for 4. Anyway, yeah, I mean you can do the math, but he had, based on that, he had, 324 home runs and, close to 500 RBIs, hitting 750.
Yeah, exactly. Softball numbers.
Well, I always do that too. Like, like Ohio State's done it a few times where they have, 31 points in the first quarter.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh, they're gonna score 124. Sweet, new record. Modern day record.
But yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about the Red Wings and the Pistons maybe a little bit next week, and touch a little bit on these 3 football games. And hopefully everybody enjoys our show. Checks us out on MI Sports Talk, and hopefully have our sidekick Sam back next week.
Yeah.
And look for us online, and don't be afraid to share with some of your friends. Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Thanks, buddy.
All right. See you, Pat.
Talk to you, brother.
All right. Later, man.
Later.